2 years ago, someone died in a car accident. After their passing, Eric became very depressed. He even stopped talking to his friends. He spent his time drawing in his book. But one day, something happened with Eric that changed his life forever. A new student, Michael, was admitted to Eric's class. Michael looked like a very shy boy. His brown hair covered most of his forehead, and his blue eyes shone from between his hair. After his introduction, Michael came and sat beside Eric. Eric ignored him, kept his head down, and continued drawing in his book. Soon the school bell rang, and all the kids started heading home. Eric also took his bicycle and left the school. Just as he was about to leave the school gate, he saw some boys bullying Michael outside. Michael looked at Eric and called for help. Eric ignored him and rode away on his bicycle, but as he went further, he started feeling bad. Michael's voice calling for help kept echoing in his head. So Eric turned back and returned to the school gate. But when he reached, there was no one there. Then he saw Michael riding his bicycle on a road ahead, followed by the same boys who were bullying him. Eric followed them to help Michael. As he rode, he found himself on a path surrounded by dense forests on both sides. He realized he might have gotten lost and thought about turning back. Just then, he heard a rustling sound from the bushes on the side of the road. Eric got scared. He looked closely and saw a horrifying wolf tearing a person apart and eating them. Seeing this, Eric froze in terror. He looked more carefully and realized that the person being devoured by the wolf was none other than one of the boys who was bullying Michael outside the school. Suddenly, a loud noise startled him. The wolf turned around and lunged straight at Eric. Eric struggled with all his strength to escape. Just then, a car passed by on the road, and the wolf suddenly let go of Eric and ran into the forest. Eric quickly got up, grabbed his bicycle, and rushed away in a panic. He immediately informed the police and took them to the same spot. But when they arrived, there was neither a wolf nor a body. The police thought Eric was playing a prank on them and scolded him before sending him home. The next day at school, Eric went to talk to his favorite teacher, Mr. Black. After his mother's death, Mr. Black had been a great emotional support for Eric. Eric believed that even if no one else understood him, Mr. Black definitely would. Eric told him everything that had happened. Listening to his story, Mr. Black was shocked. He quickly shut the door to his room and took out an old book from his cupboard. Eric was confused. Then, Mr. Black opened the book and said that he believed what Eric saw was no ordinary wolf. It was a creature that usually lived in human form but transformed into a terrifying wolf at night, or on a full moon. Hearing this, Eric's mind started racing. He remembered following Michael that night and the boy who had died. And then it hit him. The one who attacked him last night was none other than Michael himself. After that night, reports of missing people started surfacing almost every day. Mr. Black said, "We must kill that wolf." He told Eric that the wolf had already chosen him as its next target. After school, Eric went to Mr. Black's house. Mr. Black gave him a cup of coffee. But as soon as Eric drank it, he started feeling dizzy. His vision became blurry. He saw Mr. Black walking toward his bedroom. It was already late at night and the full moon was visible in the sky. Eric, in his hazy state, was watching everything unfold. Suddenly, he heard a loud noise coming from Mr. Black's bedroom. Eric immediately tried to reach the door but found it locked from the inside. Confused, he started banging on the door and calling out to Mr. Black, but there was no response. Instead, he heard growling sounds from inside, like that of a wolf. When Eric peeked through a small gap, his heart almost stopped. He saw Mr. Black's spine twist and stretch unnaturally. Thick fur started growing all over his body. His mouth elongated into a snout, and his teeth grew sharp like a beast's. Within seconds, Mr. Black had fully transformed into a terrifying wolf. And then, Eric realized the truth. It wasn't Michael. It was Mr. Black all along. Before Eric could react, Mr. Black broke the door and lunged at him. Eric tried to escape, swinging his hands in panic. Just then, his hand hit a lighter lying nearby. As soon as he lit it, the wolf stepped back in fear. Eric quickly set fire to everything around him. The wolf, terrified of the flames, ran away. When the police arrived at Mr. Black's house, they found it burned down. In one corner, they saw Eric lying unconscious. When Eric regained consciousness, he told the police everything. But from that day onward, Mr. Black was added to the list of missing people. The police never found anything in their investigation. Though they didn't believe Eric's story, no one else ever went missing in the city after that night. But Eric would never forget this horrifying experience. What do you think happened to Mr. Black? And if you want us to create an original series on this, let us know in the comments. Also, share your horror stories with us.